Sounds good.
Great.
Great.
Super great. Great.
Hello, I am Baymax.
Things are about to get heavy.
Hey everyone, this is Spy-Fan 101 with another early review of Big Hero 6 series. Now, the last review was late because my editor is horrible. So I had to use Fillmore again. Sorry about the watermark, but you know, I can't remove it, so you know, if I have to use Fillmore again, just want to apologize for the watermark. Although it's been on my Big Hero 6 reviews before, so it shouldn't really matter. So this episode was an interesting one. Now, I reacted to these series of clips, like when San Diego Comic-Con was happening, and it was about Baymax turning into this ginormous, like, anime character with a giant sword, and about this weird Carmy fanfiction of Big Hero 6. Now, back when I saw these clips, I had no idea when it would actually, you know, what episode it would be in, or if it was in any episode at all. But it turns out that both of those clips, besides the second one I reacted to, and that one was Minimax, turns out that besides that one, those two clips that I saw before were in this episode. So yeah, I still feel the same way that I did in that reaction, and that is cringeworthy to say the least. Not the episode, just the fanfiction parts. But, you know, the fanfiction parts are just cringeworthy. So, yeah, the episode starts with the fanfiction scene, and it's cringy to say the least. And then once that scene is over, Hero's face in this scene is, and I'm looking at it because I watched this episode on Disney Now. That's how I watch these episodes early. But his face in this scene is my entire reaction to the fanfiction stuff. Just very cringeworthy. But yeah, Hero finds out that Carmy's making fanfiction of him because we've seen before in previous episodes that Carmy has a crush on him. Not necessarily like Hero him, but more like whatever his alter ego is him. Because I don't think the Big Hero 6 have alter ego names. I think they just have their regular names. But, you know. So the episode starts off like that. Then we cut to, I purposefully wrote down her name so I didn't forget it, Momokase. And she was from the third episode. You know, that one where Aunt Cass was doing all the underground cooking, getting challenges and going against Gordon Ramsay and stuff. Yeah, that episode. So she's back. She's in a cell, and she's meditating. She does this weird thing where she goes up into the ceiling and marks how many days she's been there. And I found that absolutely crazy. And then a guy dressed in a prison outfit comes up to her cell, slides a note underneath the bars, and Momokase opens it up, sees one of her small blades, and we find out that the person that's in the police outfit is Obake. And this really interests me because it seems like Obake is trying to build like a Sinister Six type team, but for Big Hero 6, and trying to get all of their biggest enemies to come together so they could fight the Big Hero 6 in the finale. Now, that brings up a lot of interesting questions that I have that I'll bring up later. So we cut to Hero pretty much just cringing and being distraught over this whole fanfiction thing. And let's just say that Hero, he doesn't like this fanfiction. Especially because he's the love interest to Carmy. Now, I don't see this as a ship. This ship is worse than the Rey and Kylo Ren ship. Like it's awful. Like I already see them like planting the seeds, especially at the end of the episode. I see them like planting the seeds for it possibly happening in the future. I'm like, please no, please God no. So, yeah, Baymax senses that he's a bit distraught, and yeah, he's just ranting about this whole thing, while the team is just Fred is just like embellishing this. He loves this fan fiction, and Wasabi is just he's just making fun of him, saying, "Hey, you know, maybe you gotta get used to this fan fiction." And then we cut back to Hiro. He's like, "No," and then Honey Lemon is loving it as well, but she just doesn't like the name that Carmi gave her, which is Tall Girl, which and then she says like, I'm not that tall though. Then Gogo gives her the look, or Gogo gives her a look, and she's like, alright. And yeah, Honey Lemon is very tall, but they're all just contemplating about this fan fiction. Gogo's like, hey, he just can't accept the fact that Carmi has a crush on him. I love Gogo, man, I'm telling you. But, yeah, then they find out that Momokase has escaped prison. And so, Hiro and Baymax go to investigate this, but at the same time, you know, Gogo contacts the rest of the team, and Fred is taken aback by something, and is that they're taking down the old laboratory / island that the Big Hero 6 originally was fighting Callahan in the first movie. Sorry, I'm a little stuttery, but yeah, they're taking it down, and this is something that comes on later in the episode, which I'll get to, but ultimately this brings another very interesting question that I have. So, we cut to Hiro and Baymax as they're looking for Momokase. They find out her whereabouts, and she's running. Hiro and Baymax are chasing after her. Baymax can't chase her with Hiro because, you know, he's caught in like this narrow space. Hiro tries to stop her. He does like grab onto her leg like before she gets away. But then this droid comes in, tries to shoot at Hiro, but then Baymax shoots the rocket fist and then he's fine. But then Momokase gets away. And then Hiro puts two and two together because now we find out in the last episode that now the Big Hero 6 are fully aware of who Obake is. So now the next day comes, Hiro's walking around, everybody's talking about this dang fan fiction. And while this is happening, Fred and Hiro are talking about how she's working with Obake. And basically, while they're talking, he bumps into Carmi while she's writing chapter 2 of this fan fiction. Which, this fan fiction thing, it's messing with my head. Like, fan fiction is something that is very amazing, because with fan fiction you could write different things that would never come into fruition, but because it's your imagination, you can just run wild with it. And yes, there are good fan fictions out there, and there are bad fan fictions out there, and there are definitely some weird ones, to say the least. But in this episode, I'm just cringing. It's making me cringe at the whole idea of fan fiction. Because this whole thing about Hiro and Karmi being a thing, I don't like it. I do not like it. So yeah, after this scene passes, we cut to Momokaze and Obake talking, and she has a knife to his neck. And she's like, who are you supposed to be? And he's like, oh, I know. Oh, I can't tell you. Well, I'm Obake, and I know who you are. And he pulls up all the news feed and images on his trademark screens, and how she basically got defeated by them. And so she's upset. So she takes out a knife, takes out one of her knives, throws it at a picture of Hiro, and she's like, I'm in, let's take him down. Which is really interesting, because it seems like Obake's main target is Hiro. Which is really interesting. We'll get back to it later on, but it's really interesting to me. So, later on, we see that Hiro is talking to Wasabi about how he's got to tell Karmi, look, this needs to stop. This fanfiction needs to stop, okay? I don't like it. It needs to stop. But he's like, well, you can't tell her that. He's like, I can't tell her that, but I know someone who can. And so he puts on the costume. He tests out like how he's going to say it in front of her with the team. And he's coming off harsh. He's coming off soft. It's just not going well. So yeah, I really like that scene because, you know, it shows that Hiro, like, he's not liking it. Like, Hiro in the majority of this episode is literally how I reacted watching this. Like, it's almost kind of ironic. It is literally almost kind of ironic to me. But yeah. So earlier, we cut back to earlier, because I just brought up a later scene. Dang it. Because I'm looking through Disney Now, through all these thumbnails, pinpointing through scenes, and so I don't forget anything. So that's basically what I'm doing. So if I'm looking at the screen here, just know that's what I'm doing. So, cut back to the lab. Hiro is trying to find out where she went. And so, he's using Baymax to track her down. And it's like he can't find her because she's untraceable. So she's like, wait a minute. So Hiro's like, wait a minute. Maybe we can track her by the material in her knives. So he does that, and then he finds a location, and he realizes that it's in this laboratory. So they go down there. They don't see anything. We find out that she's actually like blocks down, running, just fleeing. And Gogo goes down there to chase after her. Now, this scene, I was freaking out during the scene. So she's getting away, right? I'm looking at the scene right now as we're discussing this. So what Gogo does, she thinks about the fan fiction that she thinks about the fan fiction about how she like broke through that vent in that one part of the fanfiction. She's like, wait a minute, maybe I can reenact this in real life. My goodness. She takes out her discs, puts them to Sonic the Hedgehog level speeds, goes all fast, sticks to the wall, and glides up. If if there are clips on this episode by the time I upload this, I will put it in the video because it is so awesome that I was freaking out. It had me freaking out. If they ever do like a movie, like in theaters, theatrical sequel to Big Hero 6 one day, I want to at some point see her do that. That is awesome. That was awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay, like if there are clips on that, I will definitely put it in the video. So we cut to the rest of the team investigating the laboratory because she was in there just cutting things up. And so we find out that she stole a bunch of things. Stole a bunch of the info from the laboratory. And so we cut to Gogo again and Momokase as Gogo is catching up to her. And before she can even do that, Momokase cuts both her discs, and in slow motion we see her cut the disc on her feet. So now she can't even chase after her anymore because the discs on her feet have been cut up. And so Gogo's like, wow, she actually escaped from my grasp. That's interesting. And so we cut back to, this is the funniest scene in the episode. So we cut back to Hiro as he's walking around the school and everybody's constantly talking about this fan fiction. And it's so funny. Like I'm laughing just talking about it. It's so funny. Like there's nothing much to this scene. I just had to talk about it because it's so funny. Like he's having lunch in the cafeteria and everybody's talking about it. He's in class, everybody's talking about it. He's walking down the halls, everybody's talking about it. He's going through his locker, which is a very interesting Easter egg because it leads to, an Easter egg of him where he kept his Megabot. I think that's what it's called from the movie. Like this seems just so funny. I had to talk about it. Like I was cracking up. So we cut to Honey and Fred as they're trying to experiment because they've also read the fan fiction, and Gogo's not the only one trying to experiment. So they're trying to make. So basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make ice water. I think that's what it's called. I think that's what they were trying to make. Hey, I was looking real stupid just now. But yeah. So Fred tries to jump in the air while making fog, and Honey tries to throw her chem balls at the fog to make it freeze up. So therefore, it makes ice water, and it works all right. But you know, Fred gets caught in the ice, and Hiro sees that they're trying to experiment with this, and Hiro's taken aback by this because he's like, look, this fan fiction, like, come on, like, it's nonsense. Why are you even trying to do this? This fan fiction is nonsense. There's no validity to it. And, you know, because he absolutely hates this fan fiction, like I do. So then we cut to this scene that I was talking about earlier where Hiro is trying to break down how he's gonna say, look, you gotta stop this fan fiction, Carmen. You gotta stop it in front of the team. He tries it first in front of Wasabi and it doesn't really work out. He then tried in front of Gogo. He says, look, you're just not a good writer. You need to quit it. Just stop. Then Gogo's like, that's harsh even for me. Now if Gogo says something that's harsh, then you gotta rethink your life. So we then cut to him trying this on Honey Lemon, and he's got Baymax next to him in this lawyer outfit, And oh man. And then she doesn't take it seriously because, you know, she's like, I don't think she's going to take Baymax as a lawyer seriously. And then Hero's like, say your line. Then Baymax is like, I object. And he holds his suitcase up. And then Hero is like outside of the San Francisco Institute, basically just walking around trying to wait for Momokase to show up. And then the team is like, or Honey is like, you gotta hear this, you're not gonna like it. And then it's a video of Momokase saying, look, I forget what Hero's name was in the fan fiction. I forget. But she says, look, if you don't come now, your girlfriend's gonna get it. Because now she thinks, apparently everybody in the world, or everybody in San Francisco just read this fan fiction. And now she thinks that Hero and Carmi are boyfriend and girlfriend, which, no, don't do that, please. I'm begging you. So now they have to go back to the island where they first fought Callahan in the original movie. So they go back to that island, and they split up into teams. So Wasabi and Fred are going down this hallway trying to look for her. He cuts a circle through the wall, or tries to, because the whole thing about Wasabi, which is very weird, is that even in the original movie he did this, is that every time he tries to create this perfect circle. And we saw it in the original film. This is how it went. And then a scenario like that is recreated in this episode. And it's kind of weird because, you know, it's a little weird to be doing it in that kind of situation. And Fred's making fun of him. He's like, do you really have to create a perfect circle every time? We're kind of in a rush here. And then Wasabi's like, don't judge me, man. And then we see Momokase cut a hole through the wall behind him, which would be considered as the perfect circle she created in like 2 seconds. And like, we see, and after that, because, you know, she got to them and she defeated them, or captured them, should I say, we cut to Honey and Gogo as Gogo burns a hole through the glass, creates like this cool thing where it basically glides them down to the floor, which is pretty cool. And then Momokase comes out of nowhere, throws one of her knives at it, cuts it. And this scene was legitimately thrilling because we see because they land, because Honey creates like this weird bear thing on the ground. Gogo lands, we see Momokase kick her, kick Gogo, she flies into the wall. Well, then we see Momokase going after Honey Lemon, and she's just cutting through all her stuff, and Honey is just trying desperately to get away. And so, you know, Momokase's catching up quick, and this scene was actually pretty thrilling. So yeah, then Gogo comes in, tackles her, and then cuts her disc and everything. It's just wow. Then once they think that they cornered her, she's like, not really, and then takes the blades, phew, and then cuts all of the bars or the supporting beams that are holding the building up. So it collapses on both of them. And then we cut to Hero and Baymax as they're trying to activate the screen you know, like the screen from the original movie where they were looking at the footage of when Callahan's daughter was being sent through the portal. Yeah, that screen. And so they see Kari. They see Kari. Oh man, yeah, I get so excited that I slur my words sometimes. Sorry about that. But they see Carmy basically held captive, and they realize that the rest of the team isn't there. What's going on? And so they go. So Hiro and Baymax go to rescue Carmy, and then the bars come up around. These bars come up around them, and we see that every single member of the team has been captured and tied up. So yeah, and then we basically get the monologue of Momokase and Hiro talking, and they basically talk about how, oh, Obake, he's got plans for you, but you know, you gotta prove yourself, because I'm about to destroy this island. And so she presses a button. The island's about to be destroyed. And so we basically get the Big Hero 6 trying to get out of there using every weapon they have. Wasabi tries to use his sword things. They electrocute him in the process. Honey tries to burn the floor, but it doesn't work. It burns the chair instead. And nothing's working. So then we basically get the scene from the clip that we saw at San Diego Comic-Con, where they're all contemplating about what they're gonna do and how bad this is. And then we see Momokase on this boat sailing away from the island, and she's talking to Obake about how, I thought you had plans for the boy. And then Obake's like, I do, if he proves himself smart enough. Now, this brings up a really interesting thing that will probably turn to a spin-off video later on. And this is really interesting, because I'm like, what plans does he have for Hiro? This is very interesting. So then we cut back. The rest of the footage is basically the San Diego Comic-Con clip where Hiro puts in the chip. And when I saw this the first time, I was absolutely speechless. You can see my reaction to the clip. It's in the description. But all I could say was, who's this? And it's basically because Baymax just morphs into this giant Pacific Rim Transformers looking robot with all, like, it's crazy. So he takes out this sword that's basically his wings, and he cuts the cage open, and it makes this ripple effect where it makes a giant explosion like throughout the entire island. And so Baymax's battery drains instantly, and so they try to get away, but he can't fly because his battery is drained, and plus his wings are a sword now. So yeah, this makes me wonder, like, is he gonna have a sword from now on? Because that would actually be pretty cool. But he says, hey, you hold on to Baymax, Wasabi. And so Hiro's like, come with me, Carmy. And you know, Carmy's like, oh, she starts to blush because she's got a crush on Hiro. I'm just like, oh my god, no, please, no. So they're running as fast as they can, and they're trying to recreate like all their lines and catchphrases and all the moves that they do from the fan fiction, because Carmy's there and they want to please her. And so Honey and Fred do the ice water thing that they did earlier in the episode, and it creates this giant raft where they slide down, and the entire island just explodes into a whole whoosh. And it's weird because after they explode motion happen, because after the island explodes, the whole explosion just kind of goes away instantly. That's kind of weird. So the Big Hero 6 have saved the day once again. They saved Carmy. Fred has written down literally all of these imaginary ships that he created, which are all cringeworthy. And the episode basically ends. The second to last scene of the episode is Hiro and Carmy doing an embrace, basically, where he's about to tell her that her fanfiction sucks, and then he's looking at the team, he's like, and then he changes his tone, he's like, as long as there's a I forget his fanfiction name, wait a minute, let me see if I can, because I have it on Disney, I have the episode on Disney now, right now, as we speak, so let me listen to this.
Justice. Captain Cutie. As long as there's a Captain Cutie.
Oh, God. Oh, God, I forgot how cringy that name was. So he said, as long as there's a Captain Cutie, there's always room for you. Oh my God, this episode. Oh man. So Carmy's freaking out. She gives Hiro a hug. Hiro's blushing. I'm like, oh my God, no. No. This ship better not come to fruition. This ship is worse than the Rey and Kylo Ren ship. Okay? Because in my opinion, the Rey and Kylo ship is the worst ship ever created. I'm telling you right now. Like, no. It's like how they're making it seem, by all this build-up, they're making it seem like it's like a Kimberly Hart and Trini ship from the Power Rangers movie. And yes, I do agree with that ship, because that makes sense. So we get a scene in the Carmy fanfiction style. It's basically how, you know, Carmy was embraced by Hiro, and she's like, hey, can I join the Big Hero 6 and can we make the Big Hero 7? I'm like, no, 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 no. And then the team is just like, aww. And then the weirdest part of this is fanfiction Hiro gets down on his knee and asks Carmy to marry him. I'm like, what? And then Hiro's just like, no more, stop. And then the episode ends. This was the craziest episode ever. I'm telling you right now. This was by far the funniest episode too. So I'm gonna have to give it a 10 out of 10 just on that alone. Yes, there are very good story elements and very good seeds that could make for some very interesting speculation videos that I'll make later on. But this episode was just hilarious. I really love it. And that scene where Gogo does the whole thing with the discs is my favorite part of the episode, by far. The whole Hiro walking through the halls and everyone's talking about the fanfiction thing is the funniest part, but the whole Gogo scene is my favorite part. And yes, I am biased because Gogo's my favorite character. So yeah. But yeah, 10 out of 10. I love it. My YouTube icon, by the way, is a picture of Gogo. So you could tell that any scene with Gogo is widely embraced by me. Because if I were to create a fan fiction, it would be about me and Gogo. Just us on our adventures. Am I saying too much? I probably am. Alright, peace.
What are you doing? That's what I do.
I'm impressed. That's actually nice.